I currently work for mother-in-law's husband as a secretary because I desperately needed a job with stable hours. Mother-in-law and I have always had a hot and cold relationship. She can be very rude and self-centered. Recently, mother-in-law was in the office and decided she didn't like the picture of her he had on his desk. She said it was embarrassing and to take it down. He said it was cute and it was staying. She later asked me to steal it from his office, and I declined. Mother-in-law said I was breaking girl code. I told her this was my job, and I didn't feel comfortable. She's never had a job in her life, so maybe doesn't get it. Also, her husband doesn't like me very much, so I won't risk being on his bad side. Well, I came in the other day and found a couple of bad pictures of me blown up and put around my desk, but facing everyone else. I was mortified. These pictures were embarrassing. Think pajamas and no makeup. The picture he had of her, she had cake all in her face and hair and looked kind of intoxicated, but at least pretty. It was totally out of the park. I went to her husband in tears and said she was a bully and I would not be harassed at my job. He tried to brush it off that she was playing, but I wouldn't hear it. I said I didn't want to see her, didn't want her in my house, etc. I told my husband, who also said he would talk to her, and agreed not to have her at his birthday dinner next week, as she is indefinitely banned from the house. Now I'm being told it was just a joke. I'm overreacting, and she was trying to bond with me. Am I the idiot for not forgiving mother-in-law's prank? Not the idiot. Your mother-in-law crossed both personal and professional lines. She used her access to personal pictures of you and her access to the workplace as a way to embarrass you. These are your colleagues, your peers, your coworkers. She brought her personal feelings of you into this. She owes you an apology. Mother-in-law seriously crossed a line with you. This is terrible. She needs to take accountability for her actions, and it's great your husband is supporting you. And if she was able to go undetected, then why not just steal the photo of herself she doesn't like? Your mother-in-law sounds totally malicious. She took the time to find pictures, blow them up, and then come to the office to place them on your desk. What the heck is going on with all these full-blown nasty mother-in-laws who speak out of turn, take the nasty option, and feel no shame? You need a new job ASAP. You also need to block her on everything and make sure she's unable to view any photos of you. She will make your life miserable, and her husband won't side with you. She was not trying to bond with you. She had a problem with her husband, who's your boss. She tried to get you involved against him, and when you refused, she bullied you. You're not girls in junior high. This is your workplace. If she had worked there, I would have complained to HR about harassment. Since she's the boss's wife, there's nothing much you can do about it. And I agree, you should start looking for another job, and it is appropriate to ban her from your house. My ex-wife 40 and I 41 male have been divorced for a year now because she had an affair. She confessed to her affair a year later and moved in with her affair partner, who she's also now married to. I was distraught over the whole thing. We also have a daughter, nearly adult. My daughter knew about the affair, but she told me she hid it from me because she didn't want to break up our family. It hurt that she hid it from me for so long, but I moved on. My daughter still apologizes for it, but I've told her it's all right. My daughter today gave me a Father's Day gift, which was a handwritten letter and a gift. However, I was in no mood for gifts, so I told her to keep them to herself. My daughter seemed a bit shocked, and she went to her room. I think she was crying as she went to her room. Am I the idiot for telling my daughter to keep her Father's Day gift to herself because she hid her mother's affair from me for months? Yes. Sorry for what happened to you, but you are the idiot. Can you imagine the position she was in? A child. You're a child. She was afraid her home would break. Her nightmare came true. And you did this? You told her it was okay and then crapped on her as if this was her fault? Shame on you. I get this is still raw for you, but what about her? Seriously, do you expect a teenager to choose between her mother and her father? She was probably scared she'd be hated by one of her parents. It's not her fault. Like, what the heck? It was the mother's affair. She had nothing to do with it and probably needs support as well. Jesus, dude. I imagine if she had said something, OP's wife would have blamed her for breaking up the family. This was a no-win situation. Her baby was literally put in an impossible situation. There's literally nothing she could have done. Kids put a lot of responsibility on themselves, even at a young age. I've had third graders tell me that they blame themselves for their parents' issues. They've broken down crying when I've told them that they're not to blame for adult problems. It's completely out of their control, and it's not their responsibility. Kids internalize a lot of these issues. What he did was confirm to her that she was part of the problem when she literally wasn't. OP is absolutely the idiot. Can you imagine how much this knowledge was also eating her up? I wouldn't be surprised if the daughter developed some sort of anxiety disorder from this. Douche, take responsibility, OP, and stop putting responsibility on your child for struggling with very difficult and hurtful information that she didn't know what to do with because she is and was a child. Gross behavior. OP, please at least consider therapy for your daughter's sake, if not your own. Please, OP, please at least consider therapy for your daughter's sake, if not your own. I, 29 female, am the proud aunt of two amazing kids, Chloe, a preteen, and Harry, also a preteen. I get along really well with both of them and their parents. My sister Amber, 37, and her wife Kate, 38, ask me to babysit them sometimes. We have a special bond. The other day, the kids, Amber and I, went out to the park. Kate wasn't there because she's a general surgeon and her work-life balance is non-existent. Kids were playing together in this playground area, and Amber and I sat together and chatted. We heard a scream and rushed to the kids. It turns out Chloe fell and was crying, holding her arm. We both freaked out. Amber and I took Chloe to the hospital where Kate works. They took an x-ray of Chloe's arm and everything. After Amber tried multiple times and finally reached Kate, she came down to the ER. She took a look at the x-ray, talked to the ER doctor, and without letting even the slightest bit of emotion or compassion toward her crying daughter and wife, said it was just a small fracture, that it didn't extend to the joint and would be okay in a few weeks with just casting. The only compassionate thing she did was hold Amber when they got Chloe's little arm into the cast. I got really mad at Kate and said she was downplaying her daughter's broken arm and acting as if nothing was wrong. She simply said kids get injuries like this a lot, and there was nothing extraordinary going on here. I may be the idiot because I called her an ice-cold, insensitive mother. Amber got so mad that she practically kicked me out of the ER and said she'd go back home with Kate and the kids herself. She said I'd better apologize to Kate before returning to their house. So was I the idiot for expecting a more human reaction? Should I apologize? You are the idiot. To paraphrase Obi-Wan Kenobi, your feelings do you credit, but you were out of line. One thing you didn't say about Kate was that she was a robot, meaning that you didn't complain that Kate was never emotional or never expressed love or affection to her kids. You did say she was busy as heck, but no other complaints about her parenting. Well, she's a surgeon, at work. Surgeon. This is not to say she was the perfect mom, but she is a surgeon in work mode. Her daughter was otherwise fine, and who is to say what Kate was like after work when she had a moment to disengage from work mode and be a mother again? Get off your high horse and apologize. Are you serious right now? Are you actually mad that your sister-in-law didn't freak out about a broken arm? It is important to have a calm demeanor with children and some adults during emergencies to help assure them that everything is okay. Doctors do not have the luxury of having a more human reaction for every case that they see, not from a work performance standpoint or a mental health standpoint. Admit you handled it inappropriately. Apologize profusely to your sister and sister-in-law. My parents broke up when I, a teen male, was a few weeks old. They were never married, and they were like 19 and 20 when they had me, so pretty young. They didn't get along so well, but could be civil to each other. I think it depends on what was going on. because sometimes they stayed away from each other. When I was a young grammar schooler, my dad met my stepmother, and they got married shortly after. My mom and stepmother did not get along at all. I remember feeling the tension between them. I remember hearing my stepmother grumble to dad about mom if I had to go to their house instead of home with mom after they had all been in the same place. It was extra bad if they all showed up to my dance recitals. My stepmother wanted to be the one doing some of the dance stuff. She used to tell my dad she didn't think she'd have much in common with a young boy, but dance could be our thing. And mom was hogging it by always being there. Mom was the person who signed me up for dance. Dad wasn't on board back then. He's too macho for that. My mom got sick a couple of years after my dad married, and she died when I was a tween. The worst part of that time was when she got too sick to take care of me, and I had to live with my dad all the time. I still saw my mom, but it wasn't the same. Before she died, she wrote me a letter and told me to read it whenever I needed to feel close to her. She said she put all her love into that letter. She also left me cards for milestones. My mom's original letter made my stepmother so angry, though. I never called my stepmother mom or anything. I never call her my parent either. I know she technically is, but I always disliked the idea of her being called that because she hated mom so much and felt like mom needed to take a step back from stuff to let her take over them, like a dance. My stepmother's angry that my mom never mentioned her in the letter and never asked me to let her, stepmother, in. She felt like mom put up a final wall between us and made sure she would always be the outsider in my eyes, and I would always long for my mom and reject her as a mother. Our relationship is really tense, and things with my dad are better than they were when I was younger. He got softer, so he said we should go to therapy together to figure stuff out. After 2 months of therapy, my stepmother wants the letter brought into sessions, and the counselor feels like that's a good idea, and we should discuss the content of it since it's such a point of contention. But I don't want my stepmother anywhere near it. She's poison when it comes to my mom, and I don't want her to taint it. The counselor told me it would only benefit us all. My stepmother got mad and said even a piece of paper is more important to me than she is. We had 2 sessions since, and I didn't bring the letter. This made my stepmother's anger worse. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. And if I were you, I would investigate getting a safe or lockbox to put it in. I would hate for you to return home and find out she's destroyed it out of jealousy. The contents of that letter are for you and you alone. Therapists be darned. Your stepmother should stop deluding herself into thinking you'll ever acknowledge her as your mother. Had she and your mother been on better terms, maybe it's a different story. This letter is just a physical manifestation of your stepmom's perceived inferiority complex. She's being needlessly competitive over the role of a maternal figure when she could have created her own role for herself in your life, had she not been a brat about it. Please scan it or take a photo of it anyway. Just a digital copy uploaded somewhere like Google Drive or OneDrive. If something were to ever happen, at least a copy of it exists somewhere and can't be erased so easily. I, 36 male, spent much time raising my brother and sister. When I was 9, our parents separated for 8 months. Our mother spiraled during it. She pretty much just slept when she wasn't working. My siblings at the time were toddlers, and I spent a lot of time with them. I made sandwiches for us at dinner time, got them to bed, tucked them in, and always woke mom up or called dad to come and take care of them. They got back together, but when I was 13, Dad died. Mom spiraled worse than before. She worked, slept, and was gone most of the night, especially on weekends. I did everything for my siblings at that point, and when I was a teen, I was able to work some weekends just to help pay for extras for us. It went on like that until I was 18 and left right after graduating high school. That seemed to be the kick in the butt Mom needed to get her act together. I've since done therapy and mended my relationship with her, but the aftermath is just that I don't really want to do anything with the kids now. The thought mentally drains me. My siblings have kids now and have wanted me to be involved since the first nibbling was born several years ago. I don't ignore them. I show up for their parties, and I'm nice when talking to them, but I don't draw out when interacting with them. I don't act fake excited, and I don't want to go to their events. I don't have them over to my house despite them and the rest of my family always suggesting I have them over because they're convinced I'd be a fun uncle. Recently, I was picking up my camping gear for my sisters, and my nephew asked to go with me. I told him no, but when he's older. When I was leaving, my sister said I should take the kids sometimes because they were always asking about me and my stuff. She suggested that she and my brother-in-law come too, if it'd help. I told her, no thanks. She asked why I refused to be more present in my nibblings' lives, because she remembered I had a lot of fun with her and our brother. I told her it might have been fun for her, but I was doing what needed to be done to keep them happy. However, it's okay if they remember it differently, because they were so young. It's just that after that experience, I don't want to be around young kids. She dropped it. Earlier today, our Nan texted to tell me no one would be upset if I skipped our cookout next week, so I didn't get stressed out around all the kids. Was I wrong for telling her why I don't get more involved? Not the idiot. People shouldn't ask questions if they don't want to hear the answers. Obviously, someone was complaining to Nan, which makes them the idiot. Also, it seems like your nibblings wouldn't be asking to spend time with you based on your actual interactions. Possibly their parents are talking you up. Go to the cookout if you feel like it, and don't if you don't. OP, really sorry if I'm wrong, but do you actually enjoy going to these family events? Because if you act the same as you mentioned in your post, then it doesn't sound like you enjoy going and just do it to make everyone else happy. Update. Just got off the phone with Nan after I texted her earlier. It was a polite disinvite because my sister told her I don't want to be more involved with the kids because I'm kidded out after raising them. Per Nan, it's selfish to be full-on cranky over doing for family, and that's not the family name way. Your nieces and nephews need you as your sister and brother did. If you can't put the bad aside, you don't need to be around the kids for now. We don't always want to show up for family for whatever reason, but we do it. Wait, so you stepped up and raised your siblings, and now you're disinvited from family gatherings? This is profoundly unreasonable. I'd have another talk with siblings about going behind your back. And Nan needs to back off since she didn't step up. Nan's passive-aggressive and a hypocrite, considering she didn't step in to help your mother when she was struggling. Agreed. You need to have an open and honest come-to-Jesus conversation with your siblings so they can clearly understand your childhood from your perspective. They will only see it from their side. They had a brother who loved taking care of them, but they cannot see your side. You sacrificed your childhood to step up when your mom neglected the family. Your siblings need the unvarnished truth and how it affects you now, or you'll be left with these half conversations throughout their childhood years.